Ever feel like you're training hard, but you're not really getting any stronger, you're not lifting any heavier, and you're not seeing any gains in the mirror? And that's a big problem, especially if you're a skinny fat guy looking to build a lean muscular physique. What if I told you that trying to up the weight each week could be stopping you from building the muscle you really want to build? So in this video, I'm going to take you through the exact method I coach my own clients through to get them seeing gains like clockwork every single week, helping them go from skinny fat to lean and jacked in months instead of years. So let's go through it. So most guys interpret progressive overload as only one thing: add more weight every week and you'll grow more muscle. What happens if you get stuck on the same weight? You're on those 24s and you can't seem to go up to 26s. Form breaks down, you start failing reps, and you get fucked off. And you stay stuck, lifting the same old weight week after week. That's not how you see changes in the mirror. Progressive overload doesn't just mean smashing heavier weight every single week. There's a much smarter way, and one that actually works out better for you in the long term. And it's a little method that I'm going to introduce to you, and I like to call Beat the Boss. It's a system that I use with all my clients through all their muscle building phases. And it's all about getting those weekly micro wins, even when you're not able to go heavier. It's one of the best ways to build muscle and get stronger as a skinny fat guy, especially in phase 1 of my 4-phase system, which is that long fat loss shred phase. Potentially your calories and energy may be a bit low at times, so then losing strength and not seeing gains during this phase can really be discouraging. So let me show you how it works using my client Dan as an example. So Dan came to me stuck where a lot of guys can relate, unable to move more weight on his classic big bro dumbbell bench press. There's loads of other exercises, but we're using this as an example. He's on the 24s every single damn week, trying to jump to the 26s, but every time he did, his form fell apart and he could just barely shift out 3 or 4 reps. Does this sound familiar? Problem is, something like this is where a lot of guys will stall out, or they get discouraged, or even sack off the gym. So the weight can become a bit of a mental wall, stuck chasing numbers that ultimately your body isn't ready for yet. So the solution is we flip the model. So here's what I told Dan. You need to stop trying to beat the weight, and you need to start beating the reps instead. Using that method we like to call Beat the Boss. So here's how it works. Instead of increasing the weight every single week, you stay on the same weight and focus on just squeezing out 1 or 2 extra reps instead. Because obviously progressive overload, that's how muscle grows. But what you haven't been told is increasing the reps is the easiest and most effective way to see progressive overload. And if you follow this specific system using this, you'll know exactly how to move through the reps and the weights over the weeks and months. And that results in a huge physical transformation. And this is the transformation that Dan made during his 9-month build phase on my coaching program, which is not bad, eh? So let's break it down. Okay, I'm going to break this process down now into 4 steps. Step 1 is select your rep range. So you've got to pick a clear rep range. Typically the best ranges to work in are either 6 to 10 reps or 8 to 12 reps. You can go lower, you can go higher, but honestly, in my experience coaching guys for like 15 years now, these are the best reps ranges to be in. Let's say for your big dumbbell chest press, you're going to work in a 6 to 10 rep range. If you're stuck pressing those 24s for about 6 reps, then great, you've already found step 2, which is find your working weight. You've got to find your weight that forces you down at the bottom end of your rep range. If it's 6 to 10, you've got to find the weight of that exercise where you struggle and it's difficult around 6 reps for 2 or 3 sets. 8 to 12, do the same but for 8 reps. Your job is to do this for all of your exercises in your program and to stick with that same working weight for that exercise across all 2, 3, 4 of your sets, instead of going up or down in weight during the sets. Step 3, now you've got your working weight, you've got your rep range, is to work through the range. Let's say you're traditional and you do 3 sets of an exercise. So let's say on week 1 with your 24s on your chest press, you managed to do 3 sets of 6, 6, 6, 6. Next week, your goal is simply to push up those numbers. Here's the good news. If you're just able to do even 1 more rep across all 3 sets, for example, 6, 6, 7, That's progressive overload. That's gains. That's a win. The chances are you'll be able to do more than just 1 rep over your 3 sets. You'll probably be able to squeeze up an extra 2 or 3 reps across all 3 sets. So 666, that's probably going to turn to like 877, 876, whatever you can manage. The idea is to push the reps up and then try and get to the top end of the rep range as soon as possible, however many weeks it takes for you to get to, in this case, 10, 10, 10. See, the fewer weeks you can do that, the better, but if it takes a while, it's fine. You were at 3 sets of 6. Once you manage to do 3 clean sets with decent form at 10, 10, 10, you, my friend, have beat the boss. That brings you on to step 4, which is to find the new boss. Good news is, because you've built up so many more reps on this weight that you were initially struggling with, putting the weight up now, it's gonna feel like a piece of piss. Chances are you'll need to put the weight up even more than you expected. So those 24s that you were initially struggling on, now that you've beaten the boss, like going up to 26s is probably not enough of a jump. You're probably gonna have to jump up to 28s now. You need to find the next heavy weight that forces you down to the bottom of the range again. And that right there, very simply, is our beat the boss muscle growth method. So why does it work? Well, it works for 3 big reasons. Obviously, it's psychologically easier. 1 more rep is way easier to achieve and way less intimidating than going up to the next heavy weight straight away. Building a lot more control and tension and good form across higher reps before you increase the weight. Stops you doing stupid ego lifting shit and ultimately potentially hurting yourself. And number 3, it's more motivating. You're seeing progress, you're seeing gains every single week, even if it's just 1 or 2 extra reps, you're making those gains. That builds a lot of momentum, that builds a lot of confidence. It keeps you wanting to go back for more. Ultimately, progressive overload without the burnout, without the constant forcing it, without feeling deflated. It isn't just a theory. This is what I use with all my clients during their workout programming as we progress through their shred phases, their build phases in my system. And for a lot of them, you can double your gains in half the gym time by combining it with my 2-set shred method as well. I have a free program for you in the links below, so feel free to check that out if you want a free program to follow in the gym that applies both the 2-set shred method and the beat the boss approach, which we've just talked about. Or if you really want to take things to the next level with your physical transformation, you want to find out exactly how all this shit works for someone who no longer has all the free time that you did maybe when you were back in your early 20s, and you need something that's hyper efficient and can be molded around all your responsibility, your work, your kids, your relationships, your socials, etc. Gonna want to check out my entire 4-phase system deep dive video here. Walks you step by step through the exact coaching process that I use to take guys from skinny fat to lean and jacked. Stop trying to lift heavier every week, start beating the boss, start growing. Check out the 4-phase system, and I'll speak to you soon.